Most iPhone wallpaper updates have been cosmetic, but iOS 27 could change how your phone looks in seconds. Instead of scrolling through endless galleries, you may be able to type a description and get a fresh background instantly. That single shift hints at a much bigger plan for personalization and automation. Now, let's dive right in. The most interesting part of the iOS 27 chatter is not another lock screen font or a new color filter. It's the idea that Apple may treat your wallpaper as something you create, not just something you pick. Now, according to Bloomberg, the next major release may add a custom background generator right inside the wallpaper picker, powered by Image Playground. If you have used Image Playground before, you know the current style often leans toward illustrated images. The new claim is that Apple is testing image models that look more lifelike, at least for backgrounds. If that testing pays off, the wallpaper experience could feel totally different from the playful images you generate for messages. Here's how it could work in practice. You open the wallpaper selection screen, and alongside the standard collections, you see an option to generate something new. You type a prompt like midnight ocean, soft fog, minimal neon horizon, no text, high contrast. Within seconds, your phone produces multiple options, sized correctly and ready for both the lock screen and the home screen. That last part matters. Generating an image is one thing. Generating a background that respects the clock, widgets, depth effects, and icon readability is another. If Apple does this well, it won't feel like a third-party wallpaper app bolted onto the system. It will feel native, with smart framing and automatic variations that keep the top area clean for the time and notifications. There are two reasons this feature could land harder than it sounds. First, wallpapers are the most visible customization most users actually touch. Many people never change icon layouts, never build automations, and never edit focus modes beyond the basics, but almost everyone understands the lock screen. If Apple makes creation feel effortless, personal visuals become a daily habit, not a weekend project. Second, the tool could quietly set expectations for on-device generation quality. If the output looks sharp, realistic, and consistent, users will start asking why other system visuals can't be produced the same way. A wallpaper generator can become the friendly gateway that normalizes generative features across the platform. The leaks also suggest that Image Playground itself may evolve. Apple may keep the current stylized vibe for stickers, emoji-like art, and quick message images, while shipping a separate set of models tuned for realism when you generate backgrounds. That split would explain why the same app can serve two very different use cases without confusing casual users. If you want to judge how serious Apple might be, look at where this feature would likely appear. The wallpaper picker is already a polished interface with strong preview tools. Adding a generate option right there means Apple wants it to be used, not hidden in an experimental menu. If the report is accurate, it will be positioned as a first-class choice alongside photos, astronomy, weather, and curated sets. Now, shift to the second major piece, the Shortcuts app. Shortcuts has always been powerful, but the learning curve feels like a tax. You need to think like a builder, choose actions, chain steps, handle conditions, and debug the workflow when it fails. That keeps automation in the hands of enthusiasts, even though the value is obvious. The iOS 27 reports point to a redesign that flips the entry point. Instead of forcing you to construct the workflow manually, you describe the outcome in plain language and the system builds the steps for you. Bloomberg describes a prompt that reads, "What do you want your shortcut to do?" followed by a text field. You type what you want, and the automation is created and installed automatically. If that happens, it's a major product philosophy shift. It turns the app from a visual programming tool into an intent-driven automation builder. Consider how this changes adoption. A casual user might type, "When I start a workout, turn on focus mode, open my playlist, and set brightness to 70%. Or, every weekday at 7 a.m., read my calendar, tell me the first meeting time, and start my commute route." In the current app, that takes patience. With natural language creation, it becomes a single request. The real question is reliability. A natural language builder must map vague words into specific triggers and actions, handle permissions, and explain what it built in a way you can trust. If Apple nails that, Shortcuts becomes mainstream. If Apple misses, it becomes another feature people try once and abandon. This also ties into Siri. Multiple reports describe Apple pushing toward a more conversational assistant, with a refreshed interface and deeper ties to the broader Apple Intelligence effort. The rumored direction is simple: less command syntax, more intent, more follow-up questions, and more context awareness. Even if you ignore the bigger assistant overhaul talk, the shortcuts change alone suggests Siri will become the front door for automation. If you can speak or type a routine and the device produces a usable workflow, Siri stops being only a voice helper and starts being the configuration layer for your phone. Next, the writing features. The same reporting points to a system-wide grammar checker, similar in spirit to Grammarly. The claim is that it flags issues, suggests rewrites, and lets you accept changes individually or apply everything at once while typing. The interface description is specific. Suggestions appear in a translucent panel sliding out from the bottom, with controls to approve, reject, or ignore. There's also mention of a write with Siri toggle above the keyboard, plus an existing Help Me Write option when Siri is activated. The theme here is visibility. Apple has offered writing assistance features in different forms, but many users don't find them because they are hidden behind share sheets, context menus, or small icons. A keyboard-level control puts the feature where writing actually happens. For a tech audience, the key detail is not the UI, it's the scope. If the grammar tool works across apps, it becomes a platform capability, not a single app trick. That means your email client, your Notes app, and your chat app all get the same baseline writing support, without each developer building a separate system. Apple also reportedly is testing controls to pause checking and jump between flagged sections. That detail sounds small, but it signals a serious editing workflow rather than a novelty feature. People who write for work need speed, consistency, and easy review, not constant interruptions. Now connect the dots across these rumored upgrades. A wallpaper generator makes personalization immediate. A natural language shortcuts builder makes automation approachable. The system grammar tool makes writing cleaner everywhere. Put together, they point to a strategy: make the phone respond to intent, not menus. Apple also has competitive pressure. Google and Samsung have been moving quickly with generative features, especially around photos, messaging, and assistant behavior. Apple traditionally moves slower, but when Apple ships, the company aims for integration and predictability. If the iOS 27 reports hold, the focus will not be flashy demos alone. It will be everyday utility, better backgrounds, faster routines, cleaner writing. Timing matters too. The reporting repeatedly points to a preview at the Worldwide Developers Conference keynote on June 8, with a typical release window around September. That schedule fits how Apple rolls out major operating system features. Announce early, see developer builds, iterate through the summer, then ship with new hardware in the fall. A lot of the details are still uncertain. Apple has not confirmed these features. Model quality, device compatibility, privacy constraints, and regional availability all remain open questions, but the direction feels coherent. If you're evaluating what to watch at Worldwide Developers Conference, look for 3 signals. First, how Apple frames the generated wallpaper feature. If Apple presents it as a playful extra, it may be limited. If Apple presents it as a core part of personalization with strong controls and clean results, it signals confidence in the underlying image quality. Second, how the new shortcuts flow explains what it built. The trust layer matters. A professional user will want to see the trigger, actions, and permissions in plain language, plus an option to edit. If Apple hides the logic, adoption will suffer. Third, how writing assistance integrates at the keyboard. If it is consistent, fast, and unobtrusive, it becomes part of daily work. If it is slow or overly aggressive, people will disable it. There's also a subtle point about Apple and realism. If Image Playground shifts toward lifelike outputs for backgrounds, Apple will need guardrails, content filtering, and style controls. Wallpapers feel harmless until you remember that any image tool can generate controversial content. Expect Apple to emphasize safety and tastefulness, and to include constraints that keep the feature within comfortable boundaries. From a product perspective, the headline might sound like, type a prompt, get a wallpaper, but the deeper story is that Apple may be building new input layers for the operating system. Natural language becomes the interface for visuals, automation, and writing. That is a much bigger change than a new set of stock images. If iOS 27 delivers even half of what the reports describe, it could reduce the friction that has kept advanced features niche. You won't need to hunt through libraries, learn the logic of automation blocks, or copy text into separate tools for editing. You describe what you want, and the system handles the construction. That's the fix nobody saw coming. Not another curated wallpaper pack, but a shift from selection to creation. iOS 27 could replace browsing with creation. Describe a wallpaper and get a polished background instantly. The The same theme shows up in shortcuts, where plain language may build automations without manual setup, and in writing tools that flag and refine text system-wide. If Apple demonstrates strong quality and trust at Worldwide Developers Conference, these changes could feel genuinely practical. In the comments, share one wallpaper prompt you would actually use, and one everyday task you would automate if shortcuts could build it from a single sentence. I will read the best ideas and turn them into follow-up tests. So let me know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the upcoming video. Peace out.